Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be doing a Ritual Blast Sunday movie review, and that movie today is Revenge of the Nerds. Came out August 10th, 1984, directed by Jeff Canoe, screenwriters by Steve Zacharias, and Jeff Buhall, Buhal, Buhal. Um, Made $60 million at the box office. I would imagine that's a pretty good little haul for a comedy back then. Produced 3 sequels. Now, um, some of these actors and or characters may or may not have been in all of the sequels. So I'm only going to go through the list of characters that I thought had some sort of part, a decent part in the first one. Um, like I said, some of these characters have been in the sequel, but I'm definitely pointing out the characters that would definitely be most memorable. But before I do, I want to thank you for stopping by, and I hope that I've been able to earn your subscription. If so, hit that red subscribe button down below. It would help our channel grow. Like, share, comment, all that beautiful stuff. On the road to 25 subscribers. Once we hit 25 subscribers and more, I'm going to do my first official giveaway. So, the only way to do that, the only way to be involved is for you to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget that bell notification. Well, let's get into it. Revenge of the Nerds. Like I said, coming out in 1984 in the summer, August 10th. Gonna run through the list of the characters in the movie real quick here. Robert Carradine plays Lewis. Anthony Edwards plays Gilbert. Timothy Busfield plays Poindexter. Andrew Cassis plays Wormser. He plays the 12 and 13-year-old that is in there, the child genius. Curtis Armstrong plays Booger. Larry Scott plays Lamar. Brian Toshi plays Takashi. Um, Julia Montgomery plays Betty Childs. Ted McKinley plays Chad Gable. Donald Gibb plays Oric. John Goodwin plays the football coach. Bernie Cassie is U.N. Jefferson, head of the Lambda fraternity. And David Wall is the dean of the school, Adams College. Basically, the title kind of gives it away. It revolves on a group of nerds who are smart people who are perceived as nerds and geeks and spazzes by the outside world, by the cool people, and they go through a lot of trials and tribulations in their freshman year of college. But we start off by Lewis and Gilbert, lifelong friends, meeting together and just basically experiencing the worries of going away for the first time from their families. Um, it's a scary thing when you're going away for an extended amount of time from a safe environment that you're into, no matter what lifestyle and social structure you're in, because you kind of have to start all over again anyway. Even if you're a cool kid in your high school, if you go to Harvard, let's say, who cool kid in Idaho, yeah, okay. Well, there's Harvard, whatever that means. That's how people look at it. But yeah, Lewis and Gilbert, uh, set up as lifelong friends. They both go into Adams. One is really interested and into computers. The other is into, I think, more of the like science and mathematics. Um, what happens is that we initially see Olger notice Lewis and Gilbert coming on campus with their, because even the moving in is kind of awkward. They have this big trunk that they're moving across campus, and Olger sees them from the Alpha Beta house and just starts going, nerds, 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 and really obnoxious, really pointing them out. And they kind of get a taste of what they're in for. It's basically these alpha beta guys who are gonna, led by Chad Gable, and they're gonna kind of like prank the hell out of these guys and torture these guys, basically, just to, because they're obviously bullies. Later on in the day, the alpha betas have a party in which they wind up inadvertently burning down their fraternity building, and they go and get to use the freshman dorm at will, even though the dean's not really cool with that because he doesn't want the freshmen not having a place to go, which they want to put them in the gym. Some people get to join a fraternity because of the inconvenience, which you're normally not allowed to do in this college as a freshman, but they do. And they apply everywhere. And they ask this character by the name of Betty Childs, who is part of um, the Pies sorority, and she sets them up to be pranked by the Alpha Betas, and they get tarred and feathered. Lewis and Gilbert get tarred and feathered. Basically, the list and group of friends that were left in the basketball court, nowhere to live, wind up finding a place to live. Okay, it's an old rundown house, and with a quick '80s music montage, they're able to fix the house into livable conditions, even though it was all covered with dirt and grime, cobwebs, and all that great stuff. Um, the search for uh, different houses was pretty funny because it's you have Worms of the 12-year-old come across this woman who's like, "Oh yeah, you can rent a room from me," and da 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 da. And it's like you're talking to a 12-year-old and you're like kind of propositioning him. Uh, this movie's kind of filled with a lot of humor that would not be rebooted into movies today, I don't think, and that's one of them. A 12-year-old getting propositioned by a grown adult, or at least not viewed as comedy. Um, but it seems like that. One of the other running gags throughout the movie is Booker and Takashi. Takashi is a foreign exchange student from, I believe, Japan, and so he's not, uh, he doesn't speak English too well, and so Booker keeps chipping him out of poker games, and he's like misteaching him how to play poker. He kind of, is kind of taking advantage of the cultural misunderstanding. Um, they finally get to join a fraternity on a probationary period because the alpha betas keep messing with these guys, and the only way to get control or get them off their back is maybe winning this fraternity contest, which then you become the leader of the council of fraternities. And maybe if they get to become that, the alpha betas will leave them alone. And so they apply to all these different fraternities. They finally get accepted to this fraternity called Lambda Lambda Lambda, head by a gentleman by the name of UN Jefferson. And it's In the movie, it's historically an African American fraternity. But if you see this movie, Revenge of the Nerds, it's primarily a white group of people with one African American in it, and he happens to, which they live up to some of these stereotypes pretty crazily because also Lamar is also homosexual in the movie, and they like really run up that stereotype too. During one of the competitions, there's this javelin javelin contest, and one of the nerds fixes it to uh, go with Lamar's limp wristed throwing technique, and it's so stupid that that is like kind of like comedy in the 80s because of the stereotype of I guess a homosexual man can't throw a javelin properly or baseball or football uh like a big strong man, like it's so stupid. um One of my other favorite parts of the competition they do is Takashi has does this tricycle contest that you gotta do 25 laps and you gotta take a beer between each lap, and at the end there's this little song that plays for him and he winds up winning. So I thought that was pretty funny. There's another part in the movie where you have to raise charity and you have to have a charity booth, and you get to team up with a sorority. And so, of course, the Alpha Betas are with the Pies, and the Tri Lambs, Lambda, 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 teamed up with the uh, Moose, which is sorority. Uh, that sorority is kind of like the female equivalent of the nerd Lambda fraternity, where maybe it's not your traditional attractive females or whatever, um, but nice people nonetheless. Or you're not looking at the real beauty of the person. Um, but how they wound up teaming up, I know I'm going all over the place, how Moose and Tri-Lambs met up was that the Lambdas got pranked again, that the Pies were going to come to the party because they were accepted into a fraternity and they were going to throw a party and they wanted the Pies to come, but the Pies tricked them. And so they invited the Moose over through Gilbert's girlfriend because UN Jefferson was there and they wanted to impress UN Jefferson, being he was the head of the fraternity. They wanted to show, like, hey, look, we cool, man. We got the girlfriends over here, you know what I mean? So that's what they were trying to do, but that kind of failed, but not so much. And then when the Moose came, it was still awkward because both the Lambs, the guys and the girls, they didn't really don't have much social experience at that time of how to really hang out and hook up at a party or whatever like that to that degree. And then Booger pulled out these big fat doobies, and then there's this whole big party going on where everyone's dancing to Thriller, and uh, and then the Alpha Betas and Pies came later on in the night on the party, and they like let pigs run wild in the house. And so that's how the team up of those two, the fraternity and sorority, happened. And then that was kind of like the last straw on how and why they want to uh, do this competition. So I told you one part of the competition, they had to do some physical tasks, like a burping contest and tug of war, and Uh, you had to sit on a horse, on a horse type, like a fake horse type of thing, and they gotta make it jump up and down, and you have to hold on as long as possible. They had to do a charity booth, The physical stuff, the alpha betas and the pies won. The charity booth, the lambda guys won with the moves because they winded up doing a panty raid on the pies, and they had taken pictures of them naked. So at the charity booth, they would cover the picture up with whipped cream, right, in this little foil cup. Put the nude picture there and the ice cream, the whipped cream there. And so, guys were going to keep getting the nudie pictures from the things. So that's how they wound up getting all the money, like winning the charity booth. But there's this, there's a lot of scenes in here that would not be done in a reboot of this movie, and this next scene is definitely not one of them. It is definitely one that would not be remade, I think. It was when Lewis went into the bounce house following Betty Childs and basically graped soda herd, and because she thought it was her boyfriend, Chad Gable. She thought it was Gable coming in because they had Lewis had a mask on that was similar to the boyfriend's. So she thought it was the boyfriend, and he didn't take it off, and she went with it, thinking again it was the boyfriend. And he raped sodaed her because she didn't know it was him. And then when he took the mask off, she was like, "Oh my God, it was so wonderful. All nerds like this, and I think I'm in love." And it's like, whoa, whoa, like, did you just not know what just happened to you? And I think that's definitely not seen because it's kind of like a sexual assault, uh, kind of presented in a funny way. And I'm a firm believer that there's comedy in everything. And this is coming from someone who's actually have had cancer severely, you know, and like I can find humor in cancer jokes, as an example. You know what I mean? I'm just throwing that out there. There's nuance to everything. But I think that that scene definitely would not be involved in any future reboots, sequels, reference to. If they were to ever attempt to do this movie again, which I personally don't think they will. And I've had a couple people tell me, yeah, I don't think that would ever happen either. A Revenge of the Nerds, like how it was, like if they were to do a beat by beat, story beat, scene for scene almost, like they try to do with some other movies or whatever, or like reference that scene, I think would be a bad idea to try to reference. Because it would just cause the people involved with the movie a lot of problems. That particular. Some of the stereotypical jokes in there too, the racial jokes in there. Some of them were a little. Looking back on it now with the lenses of being older, like at the party, Lewis plays "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot" with Ewan Jefferson there, and Lamar shuts the music off. It kind of looks like he doesn't know any better. I'll talk to him later about that. Look, like I'll tell him that that's not cool. He doesn't know it's not cool, but I'll explain it to him. Just get it. He's not a bad guy. He just is oblivious. Um, so you can kind of get away with certain jokes like that if you can kind of try to show the intention and if the person's good natured or not good natured with these things. But yeah. So then at the end, finally, there's this talent competition, and the nerds blow them away with the spectacular rap and dance routine and this violin, a solo by Poindexter, and uh, the Alpha Beta still being sore losers go and wreck their house, and finally they stand up for themselves at the end of Homecoming, and basically everyone cheers the nerds on, and the dean lets them get their old dorm back, and the Alpha Beta's got to find a new home to go to, because now the dean, who's been bullied by the coach all this time, is now standing up for himself too, and it's there's a lot more of us than there are of you guys, is what the nerds said, and I think that that's true in a sense. We all are nerds in our own way. Being nerdy kind of came into fashion the last few years, um, but you can never fake being a nerd, geek, a spaz. Once you're one of those, you already know that someone else is like that too, or when someone's playing. But yeah, that's Revenge of the Nerds in a nutshell. If I'm missing anything, let me know down below. Tell me your favorite 80s comedy. Any suggestions from future Retro Blast, let me know. And until next time, peace, Snookums.